got now a World Series guy that's going to come up and share. Matz has been a great friend of mine since actually his rookie days, when he didn't even look like he looks now, and he was even shorter. Now he's so tall. But I've watched him not only grow up physically over these last 5-6 years or whatever, but spiritually, I've watched him grow and seek to serve the Lord. And he's going to share a little bit about his faith. You're going to see on a video a superstar, because he is now a superstar. He is there in the elite of the best pitching staff in the National League. And as he comes and shares, I think you're going to see more than just a pitcher, more than just a World Series pitcher that's been great, given great success. But you're going to see a guy that has a heart for God. And truly that's what it's all about. That's what this whole evening is here for, is that we would honor God. We see the talents that he has given these guys, but we know that that talent comes from God. But more importantly than their talent is their worship and their adoration for who gave them that talent. Let's watch this video, and then we'll bring up Matz.
You know, being a hometown guy, I think it definitely does help me. You know, want to succeed for, you know, not just me, but, you know, the hometown. My first pitch, I was thinking in my head, just throw this pitch right down the middle. You're just not used to it. There's so much more like volume, you know, noise-wise and everything. Your adrenaline just kind of going, and I'm telling myself to calm down, but it's just, you can't help yourself.
Phillips rocks one out to left field, headed toward the wall, and it's off the top of the fence. It is a home run leading off the game. And so thus is Matz ushered into the major leagues.
It was almost a relief. Got the first batter out of the way, done with that, down to business. And he got down to business.
The rookie, winding and firing. Swing it on this, he got him!
To have all his friends and family, you know, to be an hour from the ballpark and watch him play with the hometown team is pretty exciting.
With it being a hometown fan base, I think that you couldn't pile on any, you know, more pressure from that standpoint. It really is impressive the way that Steve has handled that throughout his entire career.
We are Mets fans through and through. My entire family growing up, always big Mets fans.
My late wife and her mother were two great Met fans, and you know, they would watch a game no matter how bad the Mets were doing from start to finish.
My grandmother, she was a big Met fan, and she worked in a deli. The Mets used to have a thing, save 10 things off a milk carton, get a free ticket to the Met game. She would save all the milk cartons, cut them all up till she could bring the whole family.
We kind of had an idea that they were interested in him, and then as it got closer, they showed more and more interest, so it was pretty exciting when it came down to the wire.
We all knew it was going to happen, the way things were going. When it happened, I got the phone call. The tears started coming. And they were happy tears, I guess you could call them. Yeah.
Started with rehab, and I rehabbed for like 2.5 years, so it was just kind of like, man, will I ever make it out there?
How's this? Is this tender at all? No, it feels good. And again, we'll get you for lower body tomorrow, and then another upper body day with me on Saturday.
I got drafted, and it was like all great, and then I got hurt, and then I missed all that time. It's the same aspect as in, I got called up to the major leagues, I got a little taste, and now I'm hurt down here. I kind of knew what to expect, and you know, just gotta stay as focused as I can and try to get back.
Yes. Okay. So the word I got from Check was that you know, you're going to be cleared no sooner than Monday to throw, and that's assuming that everything feels good.
You know, missing like 2 years, it helped me a little bit of kind of like mentally maturing, how to deal with failure, how to deal with the success, game by game, start by start.
All right, gentlemen. Good morning. Just want to go over today's schedule very quickly as it relates to strength and conditioning?
It was definitely tough, but you know, I had a good support system. My family was great.
Oh, his debut was amazing.
So they're going to potentially walk Campbell. Well, that's going to bring Matz to the plate. And Matz.
I hate when pitchers go up the plate and they're just an easy out because it's still a big part of the game is that ninth hitter.
We're sitting up in the box there, and there was a gentleman in the box next to me. And they passed the guy, they gave him an intentional walk to pitch to Steve. And I said to the guy, I says, bad move.
It's this one to center field. Hamilton going back. It's turned around, and it's over his head. Steven Matz with a double.
We really couldn't ask for more.
Square pulls one on the ground through the hole with a runner going. Howdy, I like that. Matz signals through the area that Suarez vacated.
And I knew he was going for the fences every time he's at bat.
Breaking ball line to right center. That's a base hit. Steven Matz is on at first. He is 3 for 3 in his major league debut. He has driven in 4.
That's just my grandpa. He's the best. He's a real funny guy. It was just perfect. Somebody interviewed him and they said, "Do you know you've gone viral?" And he's like, "Viral? Is that contagious?"
Ladies asking for dates, but I told them, I said, I'm not available.
Standing in unison at Citi Field, one of the most memorable Mets debuts in franchise history will come to an end. And listen to this crowd react.
Buddy, you're a boy, make a big noise, playing in the street, gonna be a big man someday. You got mud on your face, you big disgrace, kicking your can all over the place, singing, we will rock you. We will rock you. Buddy, you're a
All right, guys, please welcome the man, the World Series starting pitcher, named Short, Steve Matz.
What's up, guys? Yeah, I mean, you pretty much got my whole story right there. Just want to say Nimmo did a great job. Said a lot of good things up there. I'm just going to kind of give you my story, but you know, me and Nimmo have been roommates, and on the road, we kind of hold each other accountable. We'd go through Bible studies, and you know, we'd have some good talks on the road and stuff. And I encourage you guys to do that. You know, kind of hold each other accountable and just be there for each other to encourage each other. But I'll kind of just give you the rundown of my whole life and my whole journey here up until this point. I'm from Stony Brook, New York. Born and raised there. Grew up in the same house my entire life. Played Little League. Did the whole high school circuit. You know, I always loved baseball. It was always my dream to become a major league player. Wasn't always the easiest ride. I mean, I honestly didn't even know I was going to be drafted when I was a junior in high school. You know, I was your guys' age, sitting in these baseball players here, sitting in the same seats, looking up to these baseball players that play in the major leagues. And I had some arm problems in high school. Didn't really know I was going to be drafted at that point. You know, I played first base. You know, I love to hit, as you can see. And I went to a showcase just hoping to get seen by a Division III school. You know, just hoping to get something. I ended up pitching. I was throwing like 89 miles per hour, and then it kind of snowballed up from there. So that's kind of like where it all started. But you know, going back even further, grew up in a Lutheran church. Parents didn't really go to church that much. You know, they raised me right, hardworking dad, mom hardworking. You know, raised me, taught me right from wrong and everything. But I really didn't grow up in church too much. You know, they made me go to Sunday school and stuff, but you know, I was probably sitting in the back picking my nose with something or something. Wasn't really paying attention too much. You know, and by the time I got confirmed, I just stopped going to church. I didn't even think about God or Jesus, or had no relationship at all. And but actually, before I get any further, one funny thing is, you know, I did have that foundation though. Since I did go to Sunday school, and I prayed 3 things every night before I went to sleep, and it was, please let me be a Major League Baseball player. Please let me date Gabby, this girl. I was in my 3rd grade. And please let no bad guys come to my house. and all three of them came true, so. So, where I was at here. Okay, so yeah, stopped going to, once I, got out of there, got confirmed or whatever, just stopped going to church. Didn't even think about it. It wasn't a factor in my life at all. Just kind of going with the flow, just going through high school. Never got in too much trouble. Like I said, my parents raised me the right way, taught me right from wrong. Was kind of a shy kid, so kind of stayed out of trouble pretty good, but still kind of mixing in with the crowd a little bit. And I remember at one point in my life, I flat out just didn't even believe in God. I didn't, I was talking to a guy I worked with, and he just kind of was, like Nemo was saying earlier about his friend, about his high school teacher, just kind of convincing me of the whole science and all that stuff. And I was like, you know what, that sounds right. I don't put too much thought in it or whatever. And then, so that's at the same point that the baseball process started. When I was a junior, I went to that showcase. I was throwing 89 miles per hour. Never been clocked before. I had no idea how hard I threw, and ended up getting invited to this national showcase thing. And then was throwing in the 90s. Pro scouts started calling me. College started calling me. There were scouts in my house, like every high school game. I was like, "What is going on?" We were all kind of in shock. But it was a pretty overwhelming process. Ended up getting drafted by the Mets in the second round. I was 18 at the time, so I got drafted at high school. I was committed to go to Coastal Carolina. I had college, all types of college called me. I don't know why I settled on Coastal Carolina, but that's just what I did. And so at that point in time, I got drafted. It was 2009. I got drafted in August, so the season was about over. Didn't play that year. Went to the next season, started throwing, ended up tearing my elbow. It said it in the video. Tore that ligament in the elbow, ended up having Tommy John. The normal process for Tommy John surgery is about 12 months, so it's about a year. You should be back on the mound, ready to go. And I tried to come back in a year, and it just wasn't feeling right. I had a lot of issues coming back, a lot of complications. And at that point in time, still wasn't a believer, still didn't believe in God. God wasn't a factor, never thought about it. But I was starting to, I guess you can say God was kind of preparing me for what he had in store for me. Just little things here and there, nothing huge. But so that 2011, this is the whole 2010 season, still a lot of complications. Elbow was still bothering me, trying to come back, a lot of disappointment, a lot of frustration going on. I was the first, second round, but I was the first pick that year. Media had a lot of expectations for me. Family had a lot of expectations for me. Friends, just all types of things. And I was just very disappointed, and frustrated, and I understood that I could make it back from that surgery, but it just wasn't happening. I was just really struggling to make it back. So 2011, I was out with some guys drinking and partying. I wasn't even 21 at the time, so it was 19 or 20. And I come back that night, and I woke up the next morning just feeling really guilty, and I was just feeling terrible about myself. And there's this one guy named Mark Cahoon. He doesn't play with us anymore, but he was a good pitcher. I always noticed him, really, really nice guy, just would go out of his way to help you. And I noticed him always, before he ate, he would just sit there and pray. And I just kind of noticed, it was something I noticed. So right after that night that I just mentioned, I was sitting outside the lobby of the hotel that we were staying at, and he's like, "Hey, you want to come to a Bible study?" I was like, "Well, I don't really have any nice clothes. I don't really know what that is or whatever." Like I said, God wasn't really a factor in my life at all. I didn't know what that was all about. He's like, "No, you're good." I was wearing sandals. He's like, "Just come on, check it out, see what it's all about." So I was like, "All right, Went there, and I actually heard the truth for the first time in my life. I've heard it in the past, but never really applied myself or focused or was interested in listening to it. And it wasn't like a switch; it flipped right there. But I kept on going back, and at that point in time, I was supposed to be back pitching, and it took me I missed 2 full years. So that whole summer of 2011, I missed that entire year, and there was still a lot of frustration. But the biggest blessing of it all was that guy who led that Bible study that night. His name's Julian. He used to live down here. He doesn't live here anymore, but he was able to give me to lead a Bible study. There was only 3 of us at the time. Actually, Jacob DeGrom was one of the guys that would attend with me, and I was able to go to that Bible study once a week. He was able to lead me and really disciple me that whole summer, and that was, I mean, I learned so much that year about myself, about Jesus, about God, about, you know, what it means to be a Christian, and not just saying you are a Christian, or, you know, or I just really learned so many truths that summer. And, you know, looking back at it, you know, in the midst of it, I was so frustrated. I just wanted to play. I wanted to be healthy. You know, I didn't really understand, but, you know, like Nemo said before, you know, after it's all said and done, you really see God's hand at work. And, you know, I can really say I saw that. I mean, man, I don't know where I'd be, or who I'd be, or what I'd be doing if it wasn't for that summer that I was hurt, where I was supposed to be playing, where most everybody is playing at that point in time after they had surgery. And I was able to sit there once a week, and we'd go to, he showed me a good church to go to on Sunday, and I just learned so much that whole summer. And it's been just a constant growing process, you know, in Jesus ever since. You know, I'm not perfect. I still make mistakes. I still screw up. I'll say the wrong thing. I'll do the wrong thing. But, you know, it's God's grace. You know, Jesus didn't call us to be perfect. He just called us to follow him and accept him. So, so I ended up 2012. You know, I missed that whole season. 2012, played a rookie ball, did really well. Got hurt again at the end of the year. Came back the next year, had a full healthy season. That was when me and Brandon played in Savannah, Georgia together. Ended up winning that championship. I got to pitch that final game, which was pretty cool. Following year, started in high A here in Port St. Lucie, went to double A. Ended up winning that championship, got to pitch that final game too, which was another awesome thing. And then last year started in AAA, Las Vegas. Then that's, at that point in time, that was when I got called up in June. You know, I set a major league record in most RBIs for debut for a pitcher in all history of baseball, so that was pretty cool. And had another start, ended up getting hurt, missed 2 months. It was frustrating, but my mindset from the first time I was hurt to this is just like, never really knew. It's like I said, I didn't flip the switch. Like sometimes you'll hear testimonies where people just flip a switch and they're a completely different person, but looking back at my mindset, at where my heart was, I mean, just the way I thought about it was just completely different. And it's because, you know, it's because of Jesus, and it's because of God and his promises of the Bible that, you know, he's written down for us, and that I've learned over the years, and that guys like Tommy, guys like, you know, pastors here will try to instill in you guys. It's that reason why I was able to just have such a, you know, such peace during that time. And it was completely different from the first time I was hurt to that second time. And I was able to come back, and you know, we made the playoff run. I don't know if a lot of you guys watched it. We got to pitch in the World Series, which was awesome. It was an experience like I never could have dreamed of. It was really insane. But yeah, so that's pretty much my full story.